Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Iman. Good morning, Wong.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, so now we will go into have a question and answer session regarding our EDUP3053 presentation about Ashram model. Our title was about teaching and learning literature using Google Classroom. Okay, without any further ado, let's move to our first question. So, a question from Zubaida to Iman Nabila. This is our first question, okay? Iman, may I know why do you choose Google Classroom as a platform of your lesson?
Okay, thank you, moderator, for the question. My group has decided to use Google Classroom as a platform of our lesson is because Google Classroom has a lot of benefits that we know. Okay, one of the benefits of using Google Classroom is it is easy to use and accessible from all devices. Means that even though you are not a Google user, maybe you are Safari user and Mozilla Firefox and stuff, it is very easy to use the Google Classroom. Apart from being delivered through the Chrome browser, it is accessible from all computers, mobile phones, and also tablets. And it is easy to add as many learners as you want. And then you can also create Google Documents to manage assignments and announcements, post YouTube videos, add links, or attach files from Google Drive. So pupils will find it easy to log in, to receive and turn in their assignments. And it is easier for teachers to monitor their students' performance too. Okay, next, why we choose to use Google Classroom is because one of the advantages is effective communication and sharing. Because when we use Google Classroom, we can also use the Google Docs. The Google Docs are the documents that are saved online and shared with a limitless number of people. So when teachers create an announcement or assignment using a Google Doc, pupils can access it immediately through their Google Drive, as long as the teachers have shared it with them. So their answers also can keep in there and they can refer to it as they want. Next, it provides an effective feedback. Speaking of feedback, Google Classroom gives you the opportunity to offer your class, your online class, to support your learners right away. Means that feedback becomes more effective as teachers can comment, can remarks, and can assess their students' achievement or students' performance of the lesson. So they can give feedback so that it can improve the students' academic performance. And lastly, the reason why we choose to use Google Classroom is because we don't need papers, obviously, because there might be a day of grading, but papers will be impossible to imagine. Google Classroom is certainly interested in getting there as soon as possible by centralizing e-learning, online learning materials in one cloud-based location, which is Google Classroom. We will able to go paperless and stop worrying about printing, handing out, or even losing your learner's work because you can keep all of that in the cloud. So you can refer to it whenever you want. So that is why we choose to use our Google Classroom as our platform for our lesson. Thank you.
Okay, very interesting about Google Classroom. Iman, thank you for your explanation. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Wong, maybe do you have any question?
Yes. Next, we have received another question from Farhana. I would like to ask Amira, how will the Google Classroom application generate a practical teaching and learning activity by uploading only materials to the Google Classroom stream?
Okay, thank you, Wong, for the question. First, Practical teaching and learning activities can be described as the learning method by which students are engaged in the learning process. Students will actively engage in the learning process by Google Classroom rather than sitting as passive learners because teachers are not just uploading materials, but teachers can develop, exchange, and evaluate classwork and access fully complete assignments for students. Google Classroom enables teachers upload a wide variety of resources, such as videos, slide shares, documents, photos, graphic organizers, and many more that can benefit students with multiple intelligences. Google Classroom also integrates with other G Suite apps such as Google Drive, Google Docs, and Google Meet. It can generate IT-savvy students even though it is recognized as limited educational activities during this pandemic season. In short, Google Classroom is a technology platform that helps teachers and students to develop new learning experiences that have not been possible before. Okay, that's all from me.
Thank you for your explanation.
Okay,
Now
let's move to another
let's
question.
move off. Sorry. Okay. Now let's move on to another question. Iman, do you have any question?
Okay, so for the next question, from Soleha to Wong, why do you think Azure model is essential for every teacher in planning their daily lesson?
Thank you for Iman. Thank you, Iman, for the questions. Now, as we have presented in the slides, Azure model is essential for teachers' lesson planning because it refers to a systematic approach which can help the teachers in organizing their instructional procedures. The Azure model places the focus on the pupils and the overall outcome of accomplishing the learning objectives. This model is also designed to be used for a few hours of instruction and for each individual student. Next, this model does not require very high complexity of delivered media, deep ID knowledge, or high revision of designs. The main difference between an inexperienced teacher and an expert teacher is that an expert teacher can easily decide on content, appropriate teaching strategies, and their delivery medium. So this model can give new or also known as inexperienced teacher a general roadmap to follow to help them to think more like an expert teacher. So therefore, these are the reasons why Azure model is essential for every teacher in planning their daily lesson. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wong. Okay, now, Iman and Wong, we are very lucky because our EDUP3053 lecturer, Mr. Lee, also has provided us a question for our group. So the question is, how important is self-direction for online learner? Okay, maybe Wong have an answer for this question?
Okay. How important is self-direction for online learner? Self-direction is very important for online learner because students themselves has to be an active participant in their education with self-directed learning. At its best, this suggests that the student have the opportunity to wander, ponder, and be imaginative and creative as well. The pace of their learning is controlled by the student themselves so that they could allow themselves to spend more time on what they need to learn and what they want to learn. So, okay. Therefore, self-directed learning is important for online learner. Thank you.
Okay. Very
I do
impressive
agree with
and
that.
interesting. Yes. So I think our Q&A session has reached at the end. So thanks a lot, Iman and Wong, for your time and cooperation. Have a good day.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone, for having us.
Have a good day.
With